camera action. Welcome to the Image MFG Co-Studio, Dave.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I've always been appreciative of your love for the brand and the idea of this, embodiment of wheels, snow, and H2O. And so to be executing some of this stuff, dream come true.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm just happy to be here, happy to support. It's a cool thing you've got going on. So, yeah, we're just two guys shooting the shit, having some fun.
And the people that are here hanging out with us, we're here with David Raybould. Welcome to the Image MFG Co-Studio. I would love to give you the floor to kind of give yourself a little introduction.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, my name's Dave. How long have we known each other? It's been a long time.
I don't know.
I mean, I moved to Vermont in 2012, 2013.
So
probably soon after that.
So it was car stuff then. It was really around the car stuff. So like 14 or 15 then.
Yeah, I remember we did a show down in New Hampshire. Do you remember that indoor show that you had the booth
Sam
at?
Zero in West Side.
That's the one. Yeah, so you invited me to that to be on the booth. So that was like the first time we kind of really hung out.
Right. And so if we didn't know each other before me owning my wagon, then we met in like 2014, 2015 era.
So nearly 10
coming on 10 years.
10 years.
Holy shit.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's when we met, been into cars my whole life pretty much. We're here with my 2012 GTI that we were talking about earlier. I've owned it brand new since 2012. It's a true kind of one owner. I've done every modification. I know every dent, every scratch, and I'm not planning on selling it. So it's one of those true one owner cars, which is pretty sweet.
So you got it with 0 miles, or would it have like 9 miles on it?
It had like 250 on it. I think they were using it as a demo car before I bought it. I bought it like the end of the model year. Okay. So it was, it had a discount on it. They were bringing in the new like 2013 model years. It was like June, July when I bought it. So yeah, I got a good deal on it. The price was right. But yeah, I'm the first and only owner.
So 2012, and it's now 2024. How many miles are on that thing right now?
It's about 78,000.
Yeah. So how long did you daily it before really getting into the deciding, this is now the show car?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I dailied it for probably 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And then when I decided I wanted to bag it, and I actually bagged it, and that's when I got like a daily driver and kind of took this off the road and stored it for the winter. I didn't drive it. Vermont winters can be pretty rough, especially where I live, driving up to the mountain every day. So yeah, it got daily driven. It saw a couple of Vermont winters, so the underside has got a little bit of surface rust on it. But yeah, ever since then, it's been stored for the winter, and now now it only comes outside when I drive it. It gets stored inside, and it does not do daily duties.
What management did you decide to go with when you first bagged it, and then has the management changed over time?
Yeah, the management's been through about 5 different iterations. At the time, Airlift V2 was the go-to for management, and I've got the Airlift Performance struts on it. And then the tank setup in the back, like I said, that's had 4 or 5 different upgrades with the tank getting, different tanks, the mounting location of the tanks, the setup under the floor. I upgraded to Airlift 3P when that came out to improve the management a little bit. And I've finally settled on how you see it right now. I always had this vision of mounting the air tank to the strut brace in the back, and I like to think I was one of the first people to do it. I hadn't ever seen it done before I'd done it.
Do you know what year that was?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look through pictures, but it was. I only had the original tank set up in it for 1 or 2 years, so probably going back 6, 7 years maybe to having the tank mounted. And I've seen a few people do it since, but I like to think I was a pioneer.
Right here in front of me, this is cool. Performance VW.
Yeah, so
tell me about this.
That's a boyhood dream of mine come true. As a kid growing up, I grew up in England. This was a big magazine at the time. 15, 16 years old. In the UK, you can't drive until you're 17, so me and my buddy would go to these Volkswagen shows before we could even drive. And this was before kind of Instagram really took off, before, people were just building cars for the internet. You had to go and see these cars in person. So the magazines was the outlet for showing off your car. And so reading that magazine as a kid was always just a dream of having a car in the magazine one day. And, fast forward 20 years to today, or a couple of years ago when the feature was done, dream come true. It just, right time, right people, having the right conversations. Just shout out to Scott Hurdling, who was helped coordinate, Derek, who took the pictures. Those two are kind of the contacts of the magazine in the Northeast, and they had shot a couple of other cars in the area. So I was just in conversation with Derek at Wolf Scott one year, like, hey, do you think this is good enough to be in the magazine? He's like, let me reach out to Elliot, who's the editor. And they came back with, go ahead and do the shoot. So we did the shoot. He submitted the pictures, and I didn't really hear much for a few months. They said that would be the case. It was over the winter, but they were shooting for the new year. So this came out in April. Flip to the front real quick. What do we got here? April 23. Mm-hmm. So only 12 months ago. The editor, Brian, was down in New Jersey. Not the editor, sorry. The writer was down in New Jersey, Brian. He reached out. We sent a bunch of emails back and forth to do the article. And then, after that, things happened really quickly. We finished up the article in February, March, and it came out in the April edition. And it was it's pretty sweet to see your car.
Sorry, I lost the position. I'm screwing it up. It's fine.
So
it's all part of the fun.
It was pretty sweet to see my car with a 8-page.
This is amazing, you guys. Anyone that's listening and seeing this, go find yourself a copy of the April 23 Performance VW featuring Dave's car. This is so special, and this is my first time actually looking at it. I've been meaning to get my hands on a copy of this for a while, and very, very special. See it in print. The dying art. Seeing this in print is so special.
I think what's special, too, is especially for us, we've supported each other for a long time. And, I rep your logos on my car. So to see the car
I'm buzzing.
with the image logos
so wild.
in print,
yes,
people buying this magazine all over the world,
it's
pretty sweet.
Image brand, individuals maintaining a genuine existence. And this human being to my left is probably one of the most humble and genuine, kind, and, just exciting person to be around. So thank you all for tuning in. Welcome to Image MFG Co. Studio Session, Volume 1.
Nice.
Getting into the idea of wheels, snow, and H2O. Let's talk a little bit about, your career.
Yeah.
And, who you really are. Because cars are fun, right? But you've invested a lot of time, effort, and energy into, the whole snow side of things.
Yeah. So, wheels, snow, H2O, it's kind of what, your motto,
little
your
mantra,
slogan,
little tagline for those who ride, wheels, snow, H2O.
Exactly. And it's something that's close to me. I've always been interested in cars from pretty much as long as I can remember. Right, my dad used to modify cars. He used to rally cars. So as long as I can remember, a kid growing up in the garage at home, just watching him wrench on stuff. So that's the wheels thing, obviously. And then the snow side of things, my career job is I work in the ski industry. I'm a manager in a ski resort, in a ski and ride school, and so that's my other passion in life outside of cars. And living in Vermont, you kind of need to do something in the winter because it snows, it gets pretty cold. So, the cars get tucked away for the winter, and I can follow my other passion for 5-6 months of the year. So the two play hand in hand really well. And then H2O, going out on the lake, on the boat, whatever it is.
You had a jet ski, now you're looking for a boat.
Had a jet ski, had my fun with it for 5 years, sold it. Looking to maybe get a boat, have some more fun on that. Just going out on the lake, going out in the ocean, having some fun.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit about your career on snow and your certifications and stuff?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a manager in the ski and ride school at Stowe. Second year going into that this winter as a manager. Before that, I was supervising for a couple of years, and then I was an instructor for 8 to 10 years before that. So kind of a natural career progression. You know, you start off as an instructor, you get all your certification, and then if you want to, you can move up through management. On a side to that, I'm also an examiner with the PSIA, which is the Professional Ski Instructors of America. And what's cool about that job is they pay me to go up and down the East Coast in the winter to these other mountains, and I get to certify other instructors and do clinics for other instructors at mountains that maybe aren't as fortunate as us at Stowe. They don't have the access to training that we do. So to do that as well is a privilege. You know, I love to educate and share my passions with people. So getting paid to do that is pretty fun.
Pretty special.
Yeah.
And you just picked up, you say you put the cars away for the winter, but didn't you just pick up a pretty fun winter ride?
Who wants to drive a boring daily, right?
Exactly.
So,
here's the thing. Getting there, whether it's your job or wherever, getting there is half the fun, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So my daily driver is a 2018 Audi RS3, which is, you know, it's not the pick of the bunch. I was pretty much searching online and filtering by lowest price.
Well, you knew it was going to be in the snow, right? And in the shit, right?
I knew it was going to be a winter car.
Perfect.
So
you didn't want to baby it.
I didn't want to baby it. You know, I didn't want the most perfect example. So I threw some snow tires on it. It's already got a stage 1 tune, 500 horsepower in the snow.
It's awesome.
It's awesome,
I
but
got
it's
a quick rip
also
in it.
it's a little bit too much. So that's my daily driver is an RS3, which is super fun. I love that car. It pulls daily duties all the time. The other day I was going down to Home Depot and the wife texted me like, hey, can you pick up some mulch? And I'm like, yeah, I'll fit as many bags of mulch in the back of this thing as I can. So 8 bags. If anyone wants to know, the trunk size of an RS3 is exactly 8 bags of mulch.
Check.
And then
the more you know.
And then I have a 1979 Volkswagen Rabbit, which is VR6 swap.
Yes, you're right. That's your newest project.
Yeah, that's my newest project.
That's a garage swap at the Wub Jobs, right? If you guys want to learn more about that, you can check you out on YouTube, right?
I can, absolutely. Check me out on YouTube, Wob Jobs. I'm documenting that whole build. That's my big project right now. This GTI, I'll never say the project's done or finished, but it's at a point now where I don't really want to do too much more to it. It's kind of like a timepiece, which is pretty sweet, you know, like an era of time. I might do 1 or 2 other modifications to it, but as it sits right now, it's probably how it's going to stay.
That's great. Yeah.
All my...
Add it to the quiver.
Add it to the quiver. I'm never going to sell cars. I'm just going to buy more.
Exactly.
And then the Rabbit.
The stable. Right?
The Rabbit is the next project. It's taken all my time and money. And yeah, I'm documenting it on YouTube. So check that out. Wob Jobs.
That thing's got some pretty fun patina on it, right?
It does. So the cool thing about that car is it came from California. So the shell is pretty rust free for a 79 Rabbit. It's got some sweet patina on it. But yeah, underneath all of it was, all the bushings were dry rotted. The engine didn't run. It needed going through. So the shell is original, but the engine is from a 92 Corrado VR6. And then all the suspension, brakes, bushings, everything underneath it's kind of brand new. So
nice.
Fun.
Yeah, that's very cool. We'll have to get that one in here next.
I want to shoot some rollers with that too.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your wife think of this car, this project?
You know, it's always good to have a wife that supports your hobbies.
Absolutely.
And, she's very supportive. She's actually in the picture of the roller, which is pretty sweet.
Right, cruising on the first page.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right there. So, you know, she's supportive.
Forever.
Exactly. We're pretty supportive of each other and each other's passions and hobbies, and yeah, you know, it's better than drugs. I could waste my money on other things. At least I have something pretty sweet to show for it at the end of the day. And it's what keeps me happy.
Seeing this thing in here makes me happy.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep that? Do you plan to really make that Mark I like essentially back to factory looking in terms of like paint and stuff?
Pretty much. So at some point in its life, a previous owner painted the lower half of the car black. and it kind of looks like a taxi. Maybe it was a taxi. I don't know. I mean, it had a diesel engine in it, so maybe it was a taxi at some point, but it's kind of weird looking. I mean, people like it. It's got patina, but I would love to... so my plan for the car is build it, get it as I want now, because the shell's in such good condition, I don't have to do any body work to it. Then once I've built it to a point where I'm like, okay, this is how I want it to be, I'll strip it all down, send the shell off to get like dipped or blasted, fully repainted inside and out, and it'll still stay yellow. I don't know exactly what yellow it'll be. The factory color is lemon gelb.
Lemon yellow will be beautiful next to that. What's the blue? What's the blue of the wub?
The blue is shadow blue. It's a kind of deep metallic blue. Not the most popular color for those cars, and probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but like we talked about earlier, the price was right for this one, so I wasn't too picky on the color. It was the car I wanted. It was a two-door manual, so I wasn't too picky about the color, and it's grown on me ever since. You know, at first I wasn't too picky about it, but now you see even less of them, so it's even more unique. But the Rabbit is lemon yellow, so whether I stay lemon yellow or go with more of like an Imola yellow, but it'll stay yellow, and then, you know, full chrome trim.
Oh, nice.
BBS RSs, like a set of 001s, like the original classic BBS RS wheel. And, yeah, the VR6 under the hood with a nice interior. Yeah, that's the goal.
Very cool. And back to Wub Jobs.
Are we on YouTube now?
Wub Job interview, I meant. Wub Job feature here at the Image MFG Co. studio session, Volume 1, featuring David Raybould. Thanks for tuning back in. It's fun to just be hanging out here.
It's cool just to shoot the shit. You know, like I said, I could talk about this car for hours, so...
Let's talk about what you're wearing.
Oh, yeah. So this is a pretty cool design we came up with. I saw this somewhere else, so I can't take full credit for this, but this is the BBS RS2 Exploded Wheel t-shirt design.
Which is the current wheel on the car, and why don't you tell us a little more about the shoes themselves?
Yeah, so it started life as a BBS RS2 703. The original spec on those is a 17-inch BMW wheel, 5x120 bolt pattern. I went with that because I knew I wanted to step it to an 18-inch wheel, and the 703 is the slightly concave face. So BBS RS2s, you can get them with a flat face, a concave, or a super concave. So I wanted the slight concave face, stepped from a 17 to an 18, re-drilled to 5x112 because I didn't want to run adapters, and the overall fitment is an 18 by 9.5 with an offset of 34.
And is that square?
It's a square fitment, front and rear. Cool. I knew I wanted to run a square setup with the front fenders being rolled and pulled a little bit.
Wow.
And just a little bit of extra camber in the rear. When the car air outs, it pretty much sits fender to lip.
It's so pretty.
On all four corners. So yeah. And then the t-shirt was just kind of playing off that idea that it's a BBS RS2 three-piece wheel, but it's the exploded design. So you've got the barrel, the lip, the face.
And then the 35, talk about that here.
Yeah, so the 35 on the caliper, that's just a homage to the 35th anniversary edition of the GTI. Volkswagen never imported that car to North America. You know, we never got the fun stuff over here. So just a homage to that. Cool story behind that is the front bumper is I sourced that on ebay.co.uk. Luckily for me, my parents still live in the UK, so I can use them to order parts to and ship them over. So
they'll receive it and then they'll ship it to you?
Yeah, because the shipping, most people won't ship something that big to the States anyway, and it's not cheap to do it. So I got it shipped to my dad's house. He put it in he boxed a crate up, and he shipped it straight to my body shop. So shout out to Sam Lukens and Chris Brunswin up at Sterling Auto Body.
Nice.
If you need any body work done, hit those guys up. So he shipped the bumper straight to them. This is actually when I was in New Zealand with work in the summer.
Skiing, yeah.
The skiing.
Yeah, I remember, right? You were gone for the whole summer, right?
I'm in New Zealand. My parents are in England. They're over here in the States. I order this bumper. It gets shipped to the body shop. I come back from New Zealand. The bumper's just painted and ready to go on the car. And yeah, there's only like a handful of Mark 6 GTIs in the USA that have this bumper. Wow, and the styling on it's so subtle. Just a couple of little changes that make it different from a regular GTI bumper, but it makes such a difference to the overall look of the car.
We'll get into some of those changes and some of those close-ups in a little bit. I think this is pretty cool. I want to thank you again for coming down and hanging. I look forward to more of this stuff. And thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. This is going to be even more fun with the community that we build and the family, the Image Brand fam. That hat you're wearing, that 7 panel, that one's, you probably have had that, what, 7 or 8 years or so?
Yeah, this is one of the first hats that I got. It's not the proper design, is it? It has the different paisley underneath.
Oh, we will spill the beans. Yep, working with one of my partners, they ended up using the wrong fabric. We had been talking about a couple different styles, and so I ended up making an extra batch. And yeah, you've got more of the limited edition paisley under the brim.
If you guys haven't realized, I'm all about the limited edition and uniqueness of stuff.
Absolutely.
And, it ties back into the car perfectly of just making this a true one of one. Like the bumper, you're not going to see another one of those around. The wheels are a true custom set built of wheels. You're not going to see another set of those in those spec. The rear bumper's pretty custom. The exhaust, the interior, yeah.
Yes, another reason why this build and you as a human is a great representation of Image Brand family. It's certainly never been about the newest, hottest thing, right? This is something that you sought out and knew that you liked this thing, and you're going to continue. You're not just selling it off. You got it new, yes, but it now being 12 years old, it's just going to become even more of a classic and just even more special as time goes on.
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned that. I don't know if I've said this to you before, but I've said it to some other of my friends, is in like 30, 40 years time from now, when everybody's driving around in electric cars, we're going to be the guys that are driving like the old gas-powered cars. Like, I'm still going to be driving this in 30, 40 years time. And all the young kids are going to be looking at us like, what are they doing? Like, just how we may look at, some of our older generation and the cars they drive around. That's going to be us one day.
Oh, I'll be happy.
You're going to be driving that S4. I'm going to be driving this and my Rabbit.
We'll keep the gasoline and oil burning forever if we can, baby. Nice. Fill the oil, check the gas.
That T-shirt is very apt for my Rabbit, just so you know.
What's it burning? What's it consuming?
Well, no, it's what do you say? Fill the oil, check the gas. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, are you literally filling it basically before a drive?
I have to check the oil every time. You can still got some. I mean, it leaks, so I know if there's...
Okay, it's a leak, not necessarily a consumption.
Yeah. No, it leaks oil. Yeah. So I know if there's oil on the ground in the garage, it still has some oil in it, which is good.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Even better. I love it. Love it. In terms of, the car right now, are there other things that you've got kind of in play or in planning, or is it kind of going to sit like this for a bit? Yeah. Kind of like I already said, it's very close to its final form. There's a couple of other things I want to do to it. Some of those I'm not going to disclose today. That's good. Just because I like that element of surprise a little bit and keeping people on their toes about what's going to happen next with the work I'm doing. I would love to put a set of Recaro CS seats in it. I think that would really tie in well. Maybe just a few other interior changes. So make it a little bit more cohesive with the leather and the Alcantara, but specific. I'm not going to go into specific because if I ever do it, I want it to be a nice surprise. Exactly. Nice surprise for us. We'll have to keep staying in tune, and we'll have to have you back whenever that happens. Tell us, where does the WUB come from? So, WUB GTI, I get asked about it a lot
People seem to think it's the noise the car makes. It goes wob, wob, wob.
Not dubstep.
Yeah, that is not where it gets it from.
Good.
So if you've been around the Volkswagen scene long enough, you'll have seen press photos from Volkswagen in Germany. All that press photos, if you look at the license plate, they all start WOB and then a random set of 4 numbers. And in Germany, the car is registered to the town you live in. Mm-hmm. And so any cars, if you lived in Wolfsburg, your license plate would be WOB and 4 random numbers. So that's why all the Volkswagen press cars, the license plates all say WOB for Wolfsburg. Now, the Mark 6 GTI at the time was the last GTI to get built at the Wolfsburg factory in Germany. So 2012, last GTI in North America. Yeah. So the WOB GTI is just like a homage to the Wolfsburg factory, the heritage of the car, and at the time was the last GTI to be built.
Oh, it's special.
Wolfsburg.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think now I think the Mark 8s are now back to being built at Wolfsburg, but I think a lot of the 7s were built down in Mexico.
Down in Mexico.
Everyone wants to go street racing?
Yeah.
Meet me in Mexico.
Meet me in Mexico. Quick trip to Mexico, guys. Maybe that's our next shirt. Quick trip to Mexico.
Nice. What else?
What else is right? It's a good question. I love seeing this thing rolling down the road. We've linked a couple times, done some shots, but haven't really had a official shoot. So I'm excited to get some rollers and get some beauty shots in collaboration with our homie Aiden White Creative. Shout out Aiden White. Yep. Aiden. So yeah, why don't we maybe go for a little cruise and get some shots?
Let's go.
Shots.
Occupied.